Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. India's food processing industry is undergoing transformation, presenting significant investment opportunities for company. Now, one such company that is working with Indian companies to address specific challenges such as exceptionally high food waste is Swiss-based Bühler Group. The company is looking at bringing in more solutions to address industry-specific challenges. I'm joined by Prashant Gokhale, the MD of the company, to discuss more in details about the company's investment plans as well as the solutions that it intends to bring. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Okay, my first question to you is, what are the specific challenges, that are faced by the food processing industry, and how is Bühler looking to address them?
I think there are multiple things. One could be the requirement of the proteins for the masses. Second is that sustainability topics. Food safety, food security are the challenging things happening into the entire value chain, where as an industry as a whole, we have to work together, not as any individual, but as an industry as a whole, we have to work together. For example, when we talk about the sustainability, there is a lot of water, lot of energy is being used into processing the primary grains into the food. More or less close to 1/3 of the energy is used to process the food value chain. 2/3 of the water is consumed into this process. So there is certainly lot we can do as the industry together with Bühler, with our customers. Second thing would be the requirement of the proteins, because there is a mismatch of the requirement of the proteins and nutrition by the population mass and what is been consumed today. So we can work together and see that on a sustainable basis, in a food safe manner, hygienic way, we provide the nutritions to the mass which are more sustainable in nature.
Right. So, in terms of Bühler's investment plans in India, could you share some insights on how much have you lined up for India in the next, say, 2 to 3 years, and where exactly will this investment be spent?
Yeah, Bühler in India present over last 32 years. And since last 30 years, we are manufacturing in India. Now going forward, clearly the goal is to increase the manufacturing base. Today we do in between 20-25% of our production we export, which will go to the new levels. So we are clearly investing into expanding our manufacturing base. Second thing will happen into expansion and the investments into the R&Ds, because this is something very critical that we have to start and we have to keep going the investments into the R&D. As a Bühler Group, we spend close to 5% of our revenue on research and development, and that continues to happen in India as well. So the investment, number one, will happen in increasing manufacturing base. Second, investments will happen in increasing your R&D facilities. And third investment will also happen to provide more services for the group out of India. So if you ask me a question, what happens in next 2 to 3 years time, we envisage that close to 200 crore investment will happen in India over the next 3 to 4 years time in all these three areas: manufacturing, second is R&D, and third is expanding our services for the group.
Okay. When we look at the food processing industry, there are also a lot of startups that are working, and I would like to know, how is Bühler kind of helping the startups to foster innovation?
No, good startups play an important role into this value chain because they are very agile. They have a complete different mindset. They can implement the things very quick into the systems. So as a Bühler, as a group, we have very close collaboration and close working relations with the startups. Even in Switzerland, we run one startup incubator called Mass Challenge. Same thing we try to implicate in India. Now in month of October, we will have the startup sprint event where we want to invite 16 to 20 startups which are related to the grains and food value chain, who will address sustainability topic. They will address the digitalization topics. They will address on the reduction of the wastage, reduction into the energy, reduction into the water, these topics these guys will address. And this is what exactly Buhler intention is, to bring the startups into the entire ecosystem. Not only what we look them as the technology providers, but give them the exposure with our customer network, which is not in India, but which is globally. And that exactly Buhler is doing, becoming a catalyst between the startups and the entire ecosystem available today into the grains and the food sector.
Okay, but as we speak on the sidelines of the World Food event, I would like to know, what is that one key message that you have for all the food companies in India, especially given that, you know, ultra processed food is something that has been warned by all the doctors fraternity not to be consumed, and how it poses a risk to the health of consumers. So one such a key message to the food companies, what would that be?
I think keep the nutritional factors in mind when we do any designing or when we imply anything into a processing. Keep that nutritional topic on top of it. See that it is a hygienically produced, it is a food safe, the food safety things have been followed. As I said, the number one is the nutritional topics, protein deficiencies. If you keep those 2-3 priorities in mind, I think we don't have to get into the topics about how it is being done, whether it is done in a food safe manner or how it is being done. I think these are the primary things which are absolutely followed, and we have to emphasize more on this going forward.
Okay, you know, if I have to look at one particular sector, snacking and the biscuit segment is one that is gaining a lot of traction, and also this is a time of festive season, so we'll see this two sectors, the two segments rather, seeing a lot of demand. So with regards to these two particular segments, do you have any innovation in pipeline?
Yeah, we are clearly developing the products into the biscuit segment. We started developing and innovating the products in India for the markets in Indian side of it. So very recently in month of August, we launched one of the product which is mainly used for the Indian markets. So all our innovations will drive what is required for in the region. For the region, it means what is required for the Indian consumers, Indian staple food, Indian sensory things, all the innovations and everything happening towards that. And it is a history over the last 30 years. And now we are taking the next steps into the biscuits. Same thing will happen into the wafer, which are the savory snacks. And again, as I mentioned, the hygienic factor, the food safety, and then the nutritional topics, if you keep them in mind, things become much more easier when you start developing and delivering the things into the societies.
Got it. Could you also share some insights on the total addressable market and your current market share in India?
I would say that addressable market is over 300 million tons of food grains are grown in this country. And Bühler is present in all the sectors, like you name rice, wheat, then you name the maize, then it is spices, there are pulses, there are minor cereals, and there are millets, and so on. Even there are oats, not much oats are grown in India. So Bühler is present in each and every segment, which is addressable market becomes today close to 300 plus million tons of food grains. And this is exactly we are addressing with the customer base over here, not only over the years, but over the decades. As I said, Bühler presence in India is over 32 years. Even Bühler was present in India, not as the whole area, but with the plants, with the customers far earlier than that. So our history goes long along in this country, and over 30 years we are present over here.
Okay, and we spoke about the domestic market, but in terms of exports, could you share what is the export targets that you have for Bühler, and also how are you ramping up your exports?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, today we do in between 20-25% of our production capacities we export. But going forward in next 3 to 5 years, clear target is to ramp it up to 50%. One side we see the growth into the Indian consumption, and second thing is that expansion for the requirement into the export market. And these two things are making us to invest more into enhancing our manufacturing capabilities over here. So majority of the expansion into manufacturing capabilities what are going to happen in India to cater higher export demand and increasing the market requirements or consumption requirements in this country.
Got it. My last question to you is on the ease of doing business. Are there any particular challenges that you see in terms of ease of doing business in India, and are you in talks with the government to solve those?
I think there are many good initiatives that have been taken in the recent past. I would say one is the infrastructure, because the grain movements and these things, infrastructure plays a major role. Not every grain is produced at every location or harvest every location in this part of country. So the infrastructure plays a major role, and where it is certainly the country is making the leaps and bounds in terms of infrastructure. Second is comes into the power sector, where the sustainable power is available for the processors. And the third major thing which government is working today is the skill development. And it's a leaps and bounds we have to make that into the skill development, because these sometimes it become a primary requirement of the skills, and then it goes into the expertise required into specifically for those operating units. So we are in discussion with the government agencies that how do we really work together in terms of the skill development. And as I'm so proud to say that the apprenticeship programs, the academies, the skill development is in the DNA of this organization. At group level, more than 100 years, we are running these apprenticeship programs. In India, over 15 years, we are running our Bühler academies. And now the time has come to really expand it to the next level and see that how the organization like Bühler, together with the government agencies, to boost the skill development initiative, which is absolutely primary requirement into this sector today. So this is a third area which I say that which is clearly the goal to upskill the workforce. One is a primary side, and secondary it goes into very specific specialized things. And this is exactly we are working together with the government now.
All right, got it. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time. It was a pleasure talking to you as always.
Thank you very much, Sesa. Thank you very much talking to you.